All right, hey everybody. So welcome to the FFL Solidity team call. Thanks for being on with us today. If you don't know me, my name is Marisa Maggio. I'm super excited to be here with you guys today. This is going to be a quicker call, as I know it's the holiday season. However, again, it's a holiday, not a holiday week, not a holiday month. So with that being said, it's just some stuff that I want to hit on. Is going to be a little bit about telesales and kind of our expectations of those. A little bit about, lead strategy in regards to that, and really just following up with the carriers, because oftentimes when we don't do that, it can have bad repercussions that I don't want any of you guys to have to go through. So if anybody has questions throughout this, please feel free to unmute yourself. But as we go through, we're going to go ahead and get started with some recognition. So Christina's going to hit me with that screen share, and we're going to get started from there. Yes. All right. So as Christina's kind of getting, there we go, full screen. All right. So again, today's December 23rd. More importantly, this is week 5 of 5, or the last week of Family First Life in terms of the year. So if you had goals you want to hit or goals you're gunning to hit, it's not too late. You have until the 29th to issue and pay business. So really think about, like, what was your goal when you started the month? What is your goal now? And why did it change? Did it change for better? Did it change for, worse? What does that look like for you? And what are you trying to gauge, and what do you want your goal to be, essentially? So let's finish the year strong, because the way that we finish the year is the way we go into the year. And if you're not finishing the year strong, you're probably not going to start the year strong, because it's one day, it's a new year. Like, and don't get me wrong, like, that's great, 2022, let's go. There needs to be a calendar, but it's a calendar day. It's a calendar year. So let's make sure we're all mindful of that. So week 5 of 5, and then we'll be going into January, starting December the 30th. All right, and shout out to Miss Yori Her, FFL Focus. She is top producer between weeks 1 and 2. No surprise to me here. Yori issued over almost $30,000, so we're going to re-round up here. So shout out to Yori for issuing $30,000 in weeks 1 and 2 of December. The reason why this is so important to highlight, it's like, you guys might be like, oh, it's always Yori, it's always this person. Well, they outwork you. like that's all it is. Yori works hard. Anyone that knows Yori works her butt off. And she does that because she wants to help families, and she wants to perform at a high level, because that's who she is, right? It's like, if you come in here and you're a winner and you want to win, you'll win. If you come in here and you are a winner and you don't really try, you're second guessing yourself of if this is the place you should or shouldn't be, you're not going to see a result like that. You're not going to make 30 grand plus, because her comp is so high, in 2 weeks. In 14 days, you already made more than what some people make in a year. Some of you guys might be like, that's terrible. Well, it's terrible because, unfortunately, people make 30 grand a year. But, like, you have the opportunity, and so does everybody else, right in front of them. How are you going to use it? How are you going to utilize it? What questions are you going to ask? Who are you going to reach out to? Start thinking about things like that. So way to go, Yori, FFL Focus. Let's get it. All right, and then top issue paid agent for the week 2 of December, so meaning just the week. Rami Hamadi, congratulations. He issued almost 25 grand in 1 week. So in week 2 of December, Rami issued over $24,000, almost $25,000 of business. And here's the thing, Rami's part-time. Rami is out here in the Boston area, and he's crushing it. But he's crushing it because he's very, very direct with his clients. Very, very direct. And when we can realize that people fill the form out because they need our help, then we can go in the home and we can be direct without being mean. Just because I'm direct doesn't mean I'm mean. Like Sean Mike, for example, is probably the most direct person, or one of the most direct people that I know. And like, people respect him for being direct. I know that I do. I know that Sean will tell me, hey, like, you're not doing it. Or he'll be like, high five, way to be. One or the other, but he ain't gonna lie to me. So same thing here with Rami. When he goes in the home, he appropriately challenges his clients. What does it actually look like? And he focuses a lot, on income. And I don't want to speak for Rami, but what does it look like when, said person dies, whether that's for their daughter, their son, or their husband and wife? What is it actually going to look like? So way to go, Rami, being part-time, issuing 25 grand in 1 week. Shout out to you. Super proud of you. Really couldn't be more proud. All right, and then top 5 producers for December weeks 1 to 2. We have Mr. Evan McGuffey at about 12,000, Christopher Shin at 14, myself at 14, Rami at 26, and Miss Yuri Hurd, number 1, no stranger to the leaderboard, at about 30 grand. So way to go, guys. Super proud of each and every one of you. So congratulations to first-time writers for December week 2. So some of the people like you, these 3 people right here, I'm super excited for. Ryan Garvin, 2255, Andrew Driscoll, 2035, Pablo Arevalo, 1679. So way to go, guys. Andrew, I see your enthusiasm within Slack, and I love it. Like LFG, let's go, man, let's go. So super proud of all of you guys. If you can do it one time, you truly can do it a million times. And not only that, but think about the families that you've helped. And when death claims do come through, you're going to be thankful that you were there. And then again, no stranger, shout out to the top producer for the weekend of week 4. And that's Miss Yuri Her at about 7,500. So way to go, Yuri, proud of you. So we do have a new agent call that somebody different is going to be hosting. Typically it will be Paul McLean. Sometimes it will be myself. Other times it will be Yuri or some other leaders within the West Coast hierarchy. If you're a new agent, I encourage you to get on this call. It's every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to hop in, tune in, and just kind of learn, not only from, Paul or myself or Yuri or whoever it may be that's hosting the call, but the person that they have on the call with them also is, really kind of who, if I'm a new agent, I'm going to be leaning in. But you want to make sure you're kind of really just like lean into those things. Like if you're a new agent, you're scared to get started, you want to definitely jump on this call. Because what I can tell you is the things that you might be scared of are really in your head, or there's no reason to really be scared of them. You just have to take action. So like I always say, move fast and break things, and we'll help you clean it up. So get on that call each and every Thursday on Zoom. And then plugging in. So I'm never gonna beat this up enough. You wanna make sure you're plugging into the weekly training schedule. It is sent out, it is posted in Slack each and every week. I can't be more repetitive with this. It's like, if you don't wanna listen to a Q&A with Sean Mike, like, do you really wanna work here? Like, do you really wanna do this thing? Because that's a little confusing if you don't. Same thing with the team call. You guys are all on it. Thanks for being on, and thanks for taking the right steps to build your business. So continue to tune in. And then just like we always go over things to do, join work spots if you haven't already. I'm confused. Get your FFL discount card. And third thing right now, register for annual convention. You might say, I'm doing this part-time, I'm doing this sometimes, I don't know if I'm doing this. Well, great. If that's the case, you're the person that definitely has to be there because you're going to learn a lot from a lot of great people. Big decisions are made at big events. I do truly believe that. We had Josh on here last week talking about how it kind of changed his whole business being there. So make sure you're there. Register now. Hit the done button. It's a free event. I know in my previous, company, we had to pay to go to these events. It cost us like $500. If you wanted to sit in the front or be a manager's seat, it cost like $2,500. And it was just their way of recouping the money that they had to put back in. But here at Family First Life, it's a free event. So register and don't go alone. Bring somebody with you. Bring your spouse, bring your friend that might be interested. Bring anybody with you that wants to learn more about this opportunity, because it is an equal opportunity for everybody. And I think that it should be exposed to everybody. I do want to just put this out there. And again, I don't say this to be mean. I say this because I know what it looks like. If you're on this call and you're like, oh, I might not go. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll go. Well, it's then maybe we'll help you. And I don't mean that in a negative connotation. I mean, you need to be there. You have to be there or it's detrimental to your business. It is literally detrimental. you're going to miss out on everything that the whole company heard. You didn't hear. And now you're going to be calling, you're going to be frustrated about, I don't know how to use, I don't know how to do telesales. Well, if you were at the convention, I can guess that there's going to be, 800 people there who do only telesales, who are going to be able to tell you exactly how they do it. So we want to make sure we get there. Again, www.fflconvention.com, or you can go right into your HCMS account and register. Do one, do the other, invite people, whatever you got to do, just get yourself there. And if there's any reason you cannot get yourself there, please shoot me an individual message, just kind of letting me know what's going on as to why you wouldn't be able to attend that. All right. And then just to kind of go through a couple of things in terms of schedule, kind of going through the holidays, things of that sort. So again, it's a holiday, it's not a holiday. We all know that. I've said it several dozen times. So for this upcoming week, so of course tomorrow is Christmas Eve and Saturday is Christmas Day. I know some of you guys will be running appointments tomorrow, which shout out to you guys, because if you get in the door, it's probably a sale. And then on Christmas is Saturday, okay? Sunday is the 26th. Okay, Monday, we're going back into a regular dial day, right? Monday, we dial for Tuesday, Wednesday. Same thing, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Love you guys, but again, like, people are home on those days. Like, they're at their house. Like, so I'm just trying to help, like, everybody understand, like, that's why those would be 2 great days to run in the field. Like, that's why next week, we're going to be dialing Monday the 27th, the 28th, and the 29th, and dialing on the 30th for the 31st and the 1st, because that's going to be most effective. Because people are home, A, it's the weekend, and B, it's New Year's. It's like, I'm not trying to be mean, but like, if we all think about our plans for New Year's, I would say that like half of the people on here are going to be at home, at least half, minimally. I know I probably will be one of them. But point being is, it's good days to run business. And I'm not saying that's like, oh, it's a good day. No, start your year strong. Your year technically is going to start on the 30th in terms of Family First Life, or in terms of your professional year. It's going to start on the 30th. So take that into account, but also finish the year strong. In terms of telesales, I have had some agents reaching out. I know some of you guys are seeing great success or using a hybrid model and things of that sort, which is great. However, if you're a brand new agent and you have never sold insurance before, I would encourage you to make sure you're getting into some homes before you're just doing telesales. As great as telesales can be, and Zoom and virtual sales can be, you don't know how to necessarily connect with a client if you've never been in a home with a client. If you're brand new and you're coming from a different IMO, and that's what you're used to and that's what you did, okay, awesome. But if not, you have to realize that you need to buy double the leads. You need to be booking double the appointments, because we're saying 30 appointments a week, but we're going off of you're going into a home 30 appointments a week. If you're calling, you're doing Zoom, people can no-show you simply by not answering their phone. Think about when you call through your leads, how many people don't answer? A lot, right? It's the same thing when you're calling people back. It's like, okay, they're like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, now they're in their car. Like, it's more of a process. And if you want to do telesales, that is fine. I'm here to help you any way I can, but also to make sure that you realize you have to do double the work. You need to buy double the leads to see the result. And it's not going to be easy. And if you're a brand new agent, you want to make sure you get into some homes face-to-face before you're going and just doing telesales, because it's going to be very, very difficult to connect with your client over a telephone call or a Zoom call when you haven't connected in person. Keith Labore, I believe is the correct way to say his last name. He actually did a training for our winter sales conference about a week or so ago. And Keith is somebody who's been in this business, or been with Family First Life rather, for about 2 years. And he said this is kind of me telling his story. He had mentioned to the group that, he really wasn't taking anything a whole lot, serious. Like, he was writing like 15, 20 grand a month, sometimes 30, and, kind of if he wanted to push it or not. But he started taking it really seriously. And then he built a hybrid model, essentially. And then with that hybrid model, he was able to transfer over to telesales. But what he kept beating up and beating up and beating up was, if you are an agent that has never been in a home, it's going to be really, really, really hard to win on just telesales. And I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying I want to set the proper expectations of what that actually looks like. It means double the lead flow, and it means double the appointment count. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. Also, in terms of calling the carriers, if your business is not approved on the spot, you want to make sure that you're following up with the carrier. What does that look like? Just like you log into your back office to start an e-app, or you log into salesconnection.america, instead you're going to agent.america.com. When you get a lapse notice, when you get insufficient funds notice, when you get a policy cancellation notice, some of you guys may be like, how do I deal with that? Or you might be too embarrassed to reach out and say, I had somebody cancel. How do I deal with this? Here's the problem is, oftentimes, guys, when we get lapse notices, when we get calls from our clients, when we get anything like that, it's not usually bad news. It's not usually, I want to cancel the policy, or, it's usually, hey, I want to update my beneficiary. Or if you get a lapse notice from the carrier, it's usually, hey, I changed my bank account. But they're not going to know that they need to update that, because they might have forgot about it. If you call them, hey, Eileen, it's Marisa. We had sat down. We went over, your final expense coverage. How are things going? She's like, it's going great. Like, Eileen, I think there's just like a little bit of a glitch in the system. It looks like, this past month, we were unable to get the funds out of your account. I just want to make sure I have the right information on file. So I'm blaming myself, right? I'm saying to Eileen, hey, Eileen, it was probably me who put in the wrong bank information. Now, whether it was me or it wasn't, I'm not going to call the client and attack them. However, I do need to call the client for a couple of reasons. First of all, to get the business back on the books, right? Second of all, if it is a cancellation, I will definitely call me and I'll help you go over how I would handle that, how you handle it, and what you can do to save it. But more importantly, we get these lapse notices, or we get lapse emails from the carriers, and sometimes you want to just like ignore them. If we ignore them, we're literally hurting people. Just yesterday, I believe it was, I had a lapse notice come through with America for a client who I had wrote about almost 2 years back. And he was like a 70-year-old healthy male. I had actually 2 death claims this week. So just to kind of, put things into perception, death claims are real. But the only reason that death claim was filed is because there was a lapse notice that came and that was followed up on. They didn't know they had insurance. Sometimes think about how many people you've sat down with and maybe you didn't talk to their beneficiary. They don't know the policy's there. The insurance company, it's not their job to call and say, hey, we see that, John Smith died. You're his beneficiary. We were just quickly reaching out to make sure we could pay the claim.
It's a team meeting.
So essentially, we want to make sure that, we're following up with them, because sometimes it's as simple as, I changed my bank information. Other times, it's as deep as, my dad died. Okay, so we want to make sure we're following up on those, because if we don't, it can lead to, not great things. Why do we want to pay the insurance company? Like, why do we want to have them keep that money when we went out there, we did our job, we put coverage in place for that family, and now the beneficiary isn't going to get it because you can't follow up on a lapse notice? It's kind of shameful. And have I ever done it before? Yes. That's why I'm telling all of you guys not to do it. Like, follow up on your lapses. A lapse doesn't always mean the person canceled. It usually actually doesn't mean the person canceled. Especially if it's somebody who you've had on the books for, 3, 4, 5+ months. It's usually something different. So make sure you're reaching out to those people. And if you're nervous about how to reach out, or you're not sure of the approach, please reach out to your upline or reach out to myself, and I'll be more than happy to go through how we should handle that. And also just calling the carriers. Like, if you call me from a home, of course I'm going to tell you what, product to go with. But if you call me and you're like, you're sitting at home on on a Sunday and you're like, hey, Marisa, I was just wondering if you could tell me how the Mutual of Omaha IULE works. Well, I could, but you can also just call Mutual of Omaha because nothing's better than going right to the source. If I give you the answer, I'm just simply giving you the answer. I love you all. We're all 1099 independent contractors. I'm hurting you by not pushing you to the well and saying, here, go right to the source and ask the source. You know, how does HMS continuation work? I could tell you how it works in my words, but who's better to hear from than Americo's sales department, where their sales team is, that's their job, is to focus on how can we help agents sell our products. They want you to sell their products. When you call, it's their job. I don't care if you call them with 99 questions, literally, I don't care. And they don't care either. You might be like, oh, I called Americo and John had an attitude. Okay, well, guess what? That's John's job. John's job is to sit there and to help you. So it's like, as much as I want to say like, hey, this is how continuation works, I'll tell you if you're in a home sitting there with a client, yeah, all day, every day. But if you're at your house wondering about product knowledge, you got to call the carrier. I would be doing you a disservice if I told you not to call the carrier. And then even just following up with the carriers, if you get an email that's odd or you don't understand it, just call the carrier. Like sometimes I'll get screenshots of like, well, what does this mean? It's like, well, it could mean an array of things, but I don't know because I can't see Mutual of Omaha's back office because I don't work there. So you have to call them. And I say that with so much love because it's like, at times we can get calls and we just want to be like, we want to be the well, meaning we, like your upline, we want to be the person that has all of the information. But at the end of the day, nobody on this call, definitely including myself, knows everything. No one does. If Paul McLean and Sean Mike hop on, they don't know everything either. They might know a little bit more than I do, and you do. But my point is nobody knows everything. You got to go to the source. So it's like, how does this product work? Call the carrier. Call the carrier. And again, it's different if you're in a home. I'm more than happy to explain it. That's not my point. My point is when we're getting stuff from the carriers, we need to follow up with them. When we are putting business through that's not issued on the spot, we need to call the carrier. When we're getting lapse notices, we need to call the carrier. When we don't understand a product, we definitely need to call the carrier. So just make sure that we're doing that and make sure that you just understand that their whole like team, so to say, with each carrier is set up to have brokers calling that line. Literally, that's their job. If you call and said, hey, what's your job? Do it. They're going to tell you the same exact thing that I told you. So just making sure that we really do follow up with that. But with that being said, that's pretty much what I got for today. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? Yes. Oh, okay. And then two other things I do want to hit on. I know some of you guys have seen this. So the Slack channel. So you're going to see it in the channel. So you guys have been doing a great job posting in FFL Solidity and then also posting your sales and sales results daily. So thank you guys. And if we can continue to do that, that would be awesome. It's just helping the whole entire West Coast base shop, which we are all one big team. So we want to make sure that we're utilizing that. As well as if you go on your Slack and you go to the InHome help channel, you're going to see that we have an underwriting genie. His name is Ray. And he works on field days. So he works on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. That's going to be his normal schedule. And he works 10-hour days. He's there to answer any and all in-home questions. Me and Ray and the West Coast team are all aware that, you know, Ray needed some improvement as it was his first 2 weeks of, you know, being an underwriting genie. So we're all working on that together, and Ray's working to be better every single day. So use that, post in it. If you're the kind of person you're like, oh, I don't want to call from the home. Okay, well then at least post in the channel. We want you to call from the home, but if you want to post in the channel or you're at home on a Tuesday and you're like, oh, I wonder what this client would qualify for. Cool, post it in the underwriting genie. And I know some of you guys have the insurance toolkit, which basically is pretty cool. Keith Brandano, shout out to Keith, was actually the first person to kind of like tell me how great it was. And it really is. You literally plug everything in and it just populates. Like, it's kind of crazy. I was like, oh wow, this is cooler than I thought. I believe it's $15 a month, and it's worth it. So we'll shoot that out in an email blast, as well as with the end of the year coming, I do want to open it up to, if anybody wants to go through like their goals or anything of that sort with me. I'm going to send out a Calendly link. I know a lot of you guys will just call me, so you can always call me. However, I do know some of you guys feel better with a scheduled call. So definitely feel free to use the link or just call me, text me for a good time, and we'll blast that out as well. But other than that, I think that that's all we got for today. Does anybody want to add anything?
I'll just real quick, utilizing your resources. I can't stress that enough, especially for new agents. It goes both ways. I've had Dennis, he's not on the call, but man, I want to bring him up. He's a 19-year rookie. He's so coachable. He's like, okay, call on the home. Got it. Understood. If he can't reach me, he knows that he can either call the hotline. He can use his final expense grid, cheat sheet, term cheat sheet. Now the Genie, guys, there's so many reasons or so many ways that you can get help, figure out a direction to go when you're in the home. There's no reason you should leave there and just kind of be like, well, I don't know what happened. I didn't know what to write him. There's so many ways you can go. If you don't have my number, take down my number. I'd gladly accept your phone call if you're in the home. But yes, use your resources, especially in the beginning. Just wanted to emphasize on that.
Thank you, Zach. And yeah, Zach's definitely somebody who utilized his resources from the jump, and that's why he's killing it now, right in 30, 40 grand a month. So like, yes, hat off to that, Zach. Like, ditto. Let's go. So
hey, can I throw something out real fast, Marisa?
Of course.
So as far as calling from the home, if there's people on here that don't want to do it because they think that they'll look bad or unknowledgeable or whatever to their client, I would challenge that belief system. And actually, like, it actually makes you look smarter if you give them like, hey, I think I know what I want to do with you, but if you don't mind, I want to make sure I'm putting you in the perfect plan. I'm going to call my senior underwriter and make sure I'm doing the right thing for you as a client. And you call them up and they say, put them in whatever product. And, if you're sitting next to them, you're going to, hey, that's exactly what I was thinking. Now you've got that client believing that, you really know something and that you've gone the extra mile for them to help them out. So don't be nervous about it. It actually makes you look smarter.
I love that, Eric. And there's so much truth to that, because it really does make you look smarter, like, truly. And I think that Rami uses that as a crutch in the home. Keith as well. Essentially, they call from every home, and it's almost become part of their in-home process, almost like, hey, I'm going to show more credibility by calling. And they usually do a great job of it. Like, Rami calls like, hey, I'm sitting here with a 35-year-old, female, and she doesn't smoke, and her mortgage is 200 grand. What would you do? I'm like, bro, you know what to do at this point, but he calls because it's part of his process. So we're like, keep calling. That's fine. We're not mad at you. But it does edify you. So thank you, Eric, for adding that in. That's huge. Appreciate that. Anybody else? Comments, concerns?
I just had a quick comment. I just wanted to kind of welcome to the team. I see Thomas and Michael are on this call. It's their first call. They're both going to be writing business in the next upcoming weeks. So let's keep them fired up in Slack.
Awesome. Well, I'm super excited for you guys, both of you. Thank you guys for being on today. And you guys are going to crush it next week going into the new year. So super excited for both of you guys. Way to go. And thanks, Maddie, for welcoming them in. All right. So other than that, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas or a happy holiday. And we will see you guys next week on this call. And again, we're going to go ahead and blast out that Calendly link. Or just call me. It's kind of weird, but the Calendly, some people feel more comfortable, so that's fine too. We'll blast that out along with anything else that we had kind of went over today that we would need, and the toolkit as well. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everybody, and we will see you before the new year. Bye, guys.